Do you see the difference between real nations with real people and these phony and fake parasites?
Companies are involved, so we'll have a buffer. We won't have to see Israeli soldiers combating Hamas while they're trying to loot the aid.
So Israeli soldiers wearing women's clothes, they were, lingerie, they were playing with the kids. The people they killed and the women and the children, they wearing the women lingerie. You saw it. We saw it on Telegram. These people are fucking evil. They're riding the kids' bicycles. They're laughing and joking. Even now, they have a chant in Israel that all the children in Gaza are dead. There are no more schools. The Arabs are dead. The children in Gaza are no more. These people are pure evil, and they are the most dangerous country to the United States. You will see, maybe in my lifetime, I don't know when, but I don't think it's going to end well for us with these people. When I say us, the United States and Western countries, we put a parasite in the Middle East.
The whole procedure is much more effective, and just in the last few days, we saw Hamas putting barriers for the population not to receive this aid. This is the same Hamas that uses its own people as human shields. So we are talking about a situation that's very difficult, very complicated. Yeah, right. Once Israel is fighting the Hamas terrorists, we still want aid to get in. And the mechanism, I believe, that Israel is putting now forward is so much.
See, Piers Morgan is smart. He let her talk. He's going to attack her. He's going to dismantle her. But he knows it's a sensitive subject, and it's a strong, formidable people to go after. So you let him talk, so they won't say, "Oh, he's cutting her off. Look at, he was cutting her off." He did the best thing he ever did in his whole life. Thank you, Piers Morgan.
Better than the one that, in the end of the day, is empowering Hamas.
The end of the day,
the problem is that whilst you're saying all this and trying to justify it, you've got people like Smodrich coming out and making it absolutely crystal clear what the real plan is, which is to
that's the Prime Minister of Finance.
Completely clean out Gaza of all the Palestinians and get them into, quotes, a third country. That is a form of genocide. It is the deliberate targeting of people based on ethnicity and displacing them from their homes and killing a lot of them in the process. I don't know what else you would call it. I've resisted using the word genocide about this, but when I watched what Mr. Smodrich was saying and studied the exact words that he said, it is very hard to reach any other conclusion than that he is waging a strategy of genocide and would like to cleanse, as he put it, the whole Gaza Strip of all the Palestinians. So you can try and dress up that blockade, which is what it was for 3 months, where we saw the starving children you say you're concerned about, but you've got Smodrich there actually laying bare the real plan, which is to get all the Palestinians out of Gaza. And that is a form of genocide, isn't it? What else do you call it?
Well, let's begin with the fact that if you listen to the British media, you get the assumption that Smotrich is the Israeli Prime Minister. Well, he's not. He's not the one who's forming the policy on aid. And the policy you just quoted is actually...
So is he a liar?
He's him and Ben Gvir, the two nasty criminals. They're actually, Netanyahu is not an ideologue. Netanyahu is an opportunist and a piece of shit. These guys are evil Messianic Jews who believe that they have to destroy the Arab and build the third temple. They are the ones that are pushing Netanyahu, because if they leave his government, his government collapse and he has to go to jail under corruption charges. Every child that's being killed right now in Gaza is being killed for the sake that Netanyahu doesn't have to face the trial he has to face for corruption charges that happened about 10 years ago. Get it over with. Save the kids. Put that man in jail and let the kids live.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that his policy, his
either he's lying or he's telling the truth.
His statements are not standing in one line with Israel's policies. This is as a matter of fact. Now, going back to what you quoted basically President Trump's plan. And President Trump's plan is speaking about making Gaza a better place. Gaza will be a better place without having a terror hub, without having the
Now, remember when Donald Trump wanted to make Gaza Rivera? You see, they are evil. They can't help it. I think God makes them do that. She just spent the last 10 minutes saying that how good they are. They don't want to kill the kid. They're not involved in ethnic cleansing. And then she goes to the plan that Donald Trump was just using it as a way to get the Arabs to pay for the reconstruction of Gaza, of thinking out the box by ethnically cleansing all the Palestinians from Gaza and build high rises and call it and own it by the United States. They can't help it. There is a God.
Ground tunnel city without having people firing on Israeli cities. Just in the last 2 weeks, there were more rockets being fired from Gaza to Ashkelon, to some Israeli southern cities. We are not interested with any of that. And I just want to remind you, just in case you're so interested with finishing the war can finish today. If Hamas will surrender, if Hamas will make sure that no weapons in Gaza, if we'll see demilitarization of the Gaza Strip, and if our hostages are back home, the war will be ending today. I mean, just imagine that.
All right, but let me ask you though, but you accept that Israel has the strongest military in the Middle East, right? I am the proud owner of 2 cats, which are named after 2 Arsenal football legends. And like their owner, for an additional 50%, here to defend radical
that wants to destroy Israel.
I'm not here to defend that. Piers for an additional 50% off your first order.
Let him get his commercial. He deserves it.
At smalls.com.
He gets it.
We have a strong military, but very vulnerable population that's been hit by a terror organization. We're a small country. We're a small country that its border being invaded.
Fine. I just asked you a question as to whether you have the strongest military in the Middle East. You accept you do?
We do, but at the same time, we're a very vulnerable country when we're surrounded by radical Islamists, including backed up by Iran,
here to defend radical
that wants to destroy Israel.
I'm not here to defend that. I'm not here to defend Hamas, I think a despicable terror organization. But you said there were 50,000 Hamas. Others have put the total figure at around 25,000, which begs the question, if after 18, 19 months now, you have been waging this ferocious war against 25, 26,000 terrorists, and you still haven't defeated them, you still can't get your hostages released, they're still not being released, it's clear to most people that your strategy is failing. But what you're doing is ramping up the attacks, ramping up the devastation, ramping up the clearing out of Gaza. You've got members of the cabinet openly saying they want to get rid of all the Palestinians and get them into another country. So it seems to everybody else that what you're actually doing is not winning any war against Hamas. In fact, many people think, including intelligence that the Americans have received, for every Hamas terrorist you've killed, they've already been replaced multiple times with people with the same ideology. And that would explain why you can't get the hostages out. And in fact, the hostages, the more you bombard Gaza, the more you would say that their own lives become imperiled. And the overriding picture, which is what's getting Israel so much opprobrium around the world, is that your strategy isn't working. There's no clear plan for what happens at the end of all this. Hamas is still clearly alive and well and thriving. Yes, you've killed another one of their leaders today, but you killed his brother, who was the architect of October the 7th, months ago, and that didn't seem to make any difference to Hamas's ability to continue engaging in battle with you. And the argument remains, how many Palestinian civilian innocent lives, women and in particular children, are you prepared to kill as you continue going after Hamas when it doesn't appear that you're winning that battle, that strategy is failing?
Piers, how many Japanese children were killed under American attacks? How many German children were killed under UK attacks in the Second World War? Listen.
Japan was a sovereign nation with a strong naval forces. It attacked Pearl Harbor, and we were not occupying Japan, and Japan was not occupying us. It was a war between nations with military, with air force, not the small area of 20 miles by 5 miles that has been under Israeli occupation and stranglehold for the last 57 years. There's a big difference. And stop comparing wars. You don't have no right to kill kids.
I mean, if you want to play a fair game, you need to understand how Western armies operated in the past. Israel is not anywhere near to the American attacks on Tokyo that killed 100,000 civilians, and not anywhere near to what the UK was doing in the Second World War. Now, when I'm looking about a strategy, I get to hear all the people criticize Israel today, including yourself, and then I'm asking you this question. If Israel finishes the war today and Hamas stays on our doorstep, what kind of future do you promise my children? A future that 7th of October will happen?
I know, I promise you, go back to your country Go back to England. I'm sure you have that passport hiding someplace for safety, or for a rainy day, go back home. The way for something to stop and get rid of Hamas, get rid of all this problem is go to the negotiation table, give these people their whatever's left of 22% of what's left of their country, give them a sovereign state to live on, and give them their independence. Then they have no reason to attack Israel. And if they do, we're all going to be against them. You understand? But as long as you are enforcing your occupation and subjugation of the Palestinian people and pretending that they're attacking you for no reason, in the real world right now in the United States, we're not living in it right now because of the idiots that are, if you say something, you're an anti-Semite, or if you say stop the genocide is. In international law, the Palestinians have every right to attack Israel. And October 7th was a natural reaction to an occupation. The only difference is the killing of civilians, which we're all against. Nobody wants to see dead civilians, whether it's Palestinians, whether it's Jews or Christians, whatever they are. Civilians are civilians. They are not part of the war machines. And I still have second ideas of what really took place on October 7th, who did the most killing. And Hannibal Doctrine was used effectively by Israel's military, where they burnt 400 people to crisp. And the H guys don't have that weapon to burn anybody to death. You understand?
Again and again, just like Hamas leaders promised, this is what you expect the Israelis or the Israeli leadership to accept.
Hamas should not be allowed to run a Welk stall at the end of all this. They should have.
So how do you achieve that? How do you achieve that?
Well,
who's volunteering there to demilitarize the Gaza Strip?
With respect, Ambassador, you clearly don't achieve it with the way that you're trying to achieve it. All you're achieving at the moment is making Israel more and more of a global pariah. When only a few days ago, you have 2 doctors in Gaza who have 10 children, and 9 of them are killed in a bombardment by your forces. That doesn't make people feel, oh, this is all going great.
9 children were killed while they were asleep. And the world, the mass media, and the legislative of the United States wouldn't shut up over the 2 people who were killed in Washington, D.C., who worked for the Israeli embassy, who are adults